Hey guys, welcome to a demo. Today we're going to be getting into one of our first assignments in both the use of emphasis and also surrealism. In this case, we're having a monk that's levitating a rock above his head, and then we're also using placement and leading lines. Those are two elements of or techniques of emphasis to bring attention to this rock that's up above this monk's head. So let's go ahead and get into it. I'm going to provide all the images that are needed to create this image, and then you guys can repeat it on your end. So I'll turn my layers off just so you can kind of see the different things that are taking place here. We're using AI to generate some of this, using our selection tools, and also just growing the canvas a little bit. So, all right, here we go. I'll probably break this up into two demos so that we can actually, see this image creation in feasible sizes. So let's go File, Open. So you're going to first open all your files. So I'm going to get my boulder image open here, and this will be the first one that I'm going to start with. Over in your Tools palette, I want you to get your crop tool out. Click on it once. If I zoom out and pan up, you can see there's a bounding box around the image. I'm simply going to drag that up to like somewhere around 2,000 pixels. So somewhere around there, let go. You have the option to generate your background fill with AI. So I'm just going to hit generate. If yours doesn't actually do that, then just select it with your rectangular marquee tool, and then you can generate clouds up there. So wait for it to finish. So again, first thing, we're just building our canvas board to just make it a little bit bigger. I've got some different options here. Pick the ones that you think look the coolest. I'm just going to go with that one. That looks great. All right, and then for the first step is like I want to just get all the members in this image. Looks like I didn't select this part of the image as well. Just going to fill in that last little section there. Actually, we'll just leave that line in there for now. Again, just make sure that you select the whole thing. All right, I'm going to flatten this whole layer, Shift-Control-Alt-E. That's the longest keyboard shortcut that we know. I can turn off those bottom two layers because they don't matter anymore. I'll use my Remove tool, and I'll see if I can kind of like build in this white line there. So I messed up a little bit. You don't have to do that. I'm just kind of like cleaning up after messing up. Okay. Next thing I'm going to do is like I've got this image. I'm going to make a copy of it with Control-J. Control-J. You can see I have a new layer. This will be the floating rock. And then this will be the field with monk. So with the field with monk layer, the main thing I want to do is just remove this rock. And so I'm going to take my polygonal lasso tool. I'm going to make a quick selection around here. And then I'll just use the AI to get rid of this boulder. So I just want it gone. So I'll type in remove, hit enter. You could take your remove tool and scale the brush up as big as you want and then click on it once. That might do a pretty good job. But in this case, like I don't think it's going to be amazing. So floating rock, I'm going to turn that layer off so it disappears. We can actually see what the AI is generating. Put a farm back there. Something with a simple field I think is going to be the right move. On top of that, we're going to bring in this picture of the monk. So what I'm going to want to do first is just give him a spot to sit on. So I'm going to take out my rectangular marquee tool. I'm going to make a nice, I'm shooting for like a nice just like flat rock that's sitting generally in that same spot where the original boulder was located. So I'll just put in flat boulder. How about that? Notice again use of compositional tool by actually making my selection across the horizon line. If it places a boulder that crosses that horizon line, it'll push that horizon back further, so it'll actually look like the horizon kind of falls back or falls away. There's boulder number 1. That's pretty nice. There's boulder number 2, boulder number 3. Maybe I'll just go for this one and move forward. The other option is like I could even just like make a selection a little bit higher. So let's go Control D. I'm going to go for this boulder. I think that's got a nice look to it. Maybe I'll just lift it up a little bit higher. So just so it like crosses that horizon in a clear and obvious way. Again, if you hit this on the first try, good job. Go ahead and move on. I'll stick with this one and we'll move forward. Okay, so I've got this background layer. I'm going to flatten all these together as well. So Shift, Control, Alt, E. You can see this. Again, I'll call this new field with boulder. Okay. All of these I can turn off. I don't need them anymore. So now it's just between these two images, and I haven't quite made the rock float yet. So let's bring the monk in. So I'm going to get the monk, Control All, so Control A, Control C. I'll come back to my boulder JPEG, Control V. I can use my move tool and drop this guy down here. So again, the main thing I'm going to want to do is just kind of like place him on the rock, maybe bring some of those textures of the rock together with the boulder that I've created there, and hopefully it's going to work out fairly well. I'm going to introduce a new selection tool that'll actually make this easier. So I'm just going to zoom in here. Over in your tools palette, you've got this object selection tool. It's kind of a neat thing in that when you actually click on an object within a photo, it'll make a quick selection. Kind of the same thing that you'll see with the new edge detection within your smartphones with your photos. You can actually remove the background fairly easily. So I selected the monk, layer 1 right here. I can call this one monk, just so we know what we're dealing with. Then I'm just going to go down to my layer mask button right here and just click it once. By doing that, it removes the entire background, and so I just have the monk kind of sitting there. Cool thing about this is now I can actually like place this guy, you know, closer to the boulder that I want him sitting on. And then if I want to bring some of that boulder back in here, I can paint it back in with my brush tool. So again, notice most of the image in the layer mask is black, so I'm going to hit B for my brush tool. If I continue to paint with black, opacity at 100%. If I continue to paint with black, notice it's starting to make it disappear. So I'll hit X to make white come out, and I'm just going to paint some of this rock back in here. Maybe create a sense of like shadow where this guy's sitting. Just blend the two of those images together. Notice where the edge of the photo kind of comes in. I'm going to drop my opacity to like 10%, enter. I just want to slightly blend these images together. Again, very, very subtle kind of transitions to kind of bring those two images together. Having the shadow like run behind kind of creates a sense of like this guy maybe sitting on that rock, maybe casting a shadow on to the rock behind him. And so you'll notice you can kind of slowly just kind of like bring those two images together. So it creates a look that is, I don't know, convincing. The choice of rock, again, is going to, I don't know, look the best depending on like what you actually choose. Here I can actually bring this edge in a little bit better. I'm going to bring this rock kind of right into the one that I have created here. For the sake of time, I'm going to say, all right, okay, it's pretty good. Not amazing, but that works pretty well. So step one, create a rock. So get your boulder image, remove the boulder, and then create a rock for the monk to sit on, put them in there, and then use a layer mask to bring those two images together. So right now I've got monk sitting in a field with a rock, and I've got a nice expanded canvas. That's going to be step one. Step two, I'll talk about bringing the boulder and levitating it in there, and then also incorporating this like radiating starburst in the background.